All right, sports fans, how's everybody out there doing? William Martin coming at you one more time here on YouTube with another edition of the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge Podcast. It is that time of the week, folks, my weekly picks in the world of the National Football League. We're up to week number 10. Didn't get things started on the right foot. I picked the Tennessee Titans to hold serve at home versus their division rival on Thursday night in the Indianapolis Colts. But it was the Colts who got the best of the Titans with their fierce defense and some very strong play from their special teams. Now, with that said, there are some good games on tap for tomorrow, as well as the Monday night affair. And with that said, here are my picks for week number 10 in the NFL season. Now, you're going to have the 2-6 Houston Texans traveling to take on the 5-3 Cleveland Browns. And Cleveland is in must-win mode because, they're looking up at both the Baltimore Ravens and Pittsburgh Steelers for the top spot in the AFC North. However, they are still in prime position to get a wild card berth, and they cannot overlook this Texans team. Why? Because yes, the Texans are 2-6, but they are playing a lot better in the past couple of weeks. I look at this Browns offense; they got to get it going, especially with the running game. That is their key. That's been their bread and butter all season long. It predicates what they're going to do in the passing game. But more importantly, I think the onus for the Browns in this contest is going to be on their defense. You look at Texans quarterback Deshaun Watson, one of the better quarterbacks in the NFL. The record obviously doesn't show for it this year because the talent simply hasn't been there for this club. But this Browns defense, especially led by defensive end Myles Garrett up front, they've got to go out there and bring it, and they've got to make life tough for one Deshaun Watson. Now, with that said, you're going to see two of the better pass rushers in the NFL in this game. We talked about Myles Garrett. Also keep an eye out for J.J. Watt, the veteran defensive end for the Texans. And if this Browns offensive line doesn't keep him in check early, it could be a tough afternoon for Browns quarterback Baker Mayfield. I think this is going to be a back and forth affair, and it has the potential to be the best contest of the day. But I'm going to take Cleveland at home by the score of 31-26. Now in Motown, it's going to be the 3-5 Detroit Lions hosting the 2-6 Washington football team. And for Detroit, with a record of 3-5, they're trying to hang around with some slim hopes of making the playoffs. While for Washington, they're right in the mix to win the NFC East. Washington has a bunch of issues at the quarterback position. And when you have woes at the quarterback position, it trickles down to your team, and it makes everything else that much tougher for your team to go out there and do. You look at Detroit right now. They've been up and down. You never know what you're going to get on a week-to-week basis from the Lions, but at the end of the day, I think they lucked out because they're playing a Washington team right now that is licking their wounds, and I think they're able to take advantage of that. Thus, I'm going to take the Honolulu Blue and Silver at home by the score of 30-20. Now, in Green Bay, you're going to have the 6-2 Packers hosting the 1-7 Jacksonville Jaguars. Green Bay comes into this game favored heavily and for big reasons. The Packers are the top team in the NFC North. It's going to be 40 degrees at kickoff with the possibility of snow, and you are playing a team not only that is bad, but is also from one of the warmer climates in Jacksonville. I look at the Packers right now. What they do is predicated on the ability of number 12, and I'm talking about quarterback Aaron Rodgers. I said it coming into the season. I'm going to keep saying it. Aaron Rodgers is going to have a big season, and that is what he has done so far. We know that the Packers can get it going with their run game, and once they get that thing going with the run game, Aaron Rodgers still throws one of the prettier deep balls in the NFL, and that's going to be important because if you run, obviously it sets up play action pass. On the flip side for Jacksonville, the season got away from them before it even started. I think right now these guys are playing for jobs right now, maybe not with the Jags, but even potentially with other clubs in 2021. This contest won't be pretty. The Jaguars will try to keep it close early, but bottom line is Green Bay is simply the superior team. Thus, I'm going to take the green and gold at home by the score of 34-19. Now, at the Meadowlands at MetLife Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey, you can always put the women and children to bed when you're talking about the Philadelphia Eagles clashing with the New York Football Giants. Now, Philly comes into this game with a record of 3-4-1. They're also favored by 4 points over their NFC brethren in the Giants, who are 2-7. These two teams had a very interesting game several weeks ago on Thursday Night Football. The Giants dominated for about 55 minutes of that game, and then they just, made the bed, and called it a night, and Philly was able to come back and secure the victory. You look at Philly right now, they're in first place in this bad division. Somebody has to win this division, and you keep saying on a week-to-week basis, who is going to take control of this division? Right now, it looks like Philadelphia, but you never know. And the reason why I say that is it comes down to the play of quarterback Carson Wentz. He has been erratic at best. He has all of the tools to be better than what he is right now. But this game right here screams of, Carson Wentz can either lead the Eagles to victory or help the Giants win. We'll have to wait and see. On the flip side for New York and their young quarterback, Daniel Jones, he's only proven that he can beat the Washington football team. Both of the Giants' wins this season have come versus Washington. They're playing much better than their 2-7 record, and a lot of it, I think, comes down to the quarterback play. Daniel Jones has to play smart football. Daniel Jones has to play within the system. He can't go out there and make stupid throws. He can't go out there and get costly sacks and fumbles. These are the things that are hindering this team because, honestly, the Giants, the way they've played, they could easily be 5-4 or 6-3. This is how tough and well coached that this team has been for the most part under first-year head coach Joe Judge. I think this is going to be nip and tuck. I think the Giants have gained some confidence from their last victory last week versus Washington, as well as their first meeting with Philadelphia. And it's one of those that I think the Eagles leave the door open, and I think the Giants are able to take advantage of that. And this is my upset pick of the day, as I'm taking New York over Philly by the score of 23-20. Now, in Charlotte, you're going to have the 3-6 Carolina Panthers hosting the 6-3 Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And for Tampa Bay, they are looking to get back on track in a big way because this Bucs team was embarrassed last week on Sunday Night Football, courtesy of the New Orleans Saints, as they fell 38-3. And honestly, the score wasn't even that close, as Tampa was dominated in every facet of the game. I think the Bucs are going to come out here spitting mad and look to get back on track versus a game Carolina team. One thing that we've seen for this Panthers club under first-year head coach Matt Rule, they come to play every Sunday. I know that Christian McCaffrey more than likely will not play at running back, and that will hinder what Carolina is going to do on offense, but you still have quarterback Teddy Bridgewater, who is very solid. However, he is going up against a very stingy Bucs defense, and I see a scenario right here where the Bucs do force at least 2 turnovers in this contest. So for all of you fantasy buffs out there, if you have this Tampa defense on your unit, you definitely want to start him. Tom Brady, the veteran quarterback for the Bucs, had a bad game, arguably the worst game of his illustrious career last Sunday night versus New Orleans, and he wants to get back on track in a big way. But I think the big thing for Tampa is predicated on their run game. I think Tampa needs to go out there and establish the line of scrimmage and go out there and take care of business and do what they have to do. I think the Bucs come out ready to take care of business. It won't be easy because it's always tough to sweep a division opponent, but I think Tampa gets it done by the score of 34-27. Now, in the AFC West, you're going to have the 5-3 Las Vegas Raiders hosting the 3-5 Denver Broncos. And for the Raiders, right now, they can see the finish line, and everything is in front of them in regards to getting a wild card berth in the AFC. You look at how Derek Carr, the Raiders quarterback, has been playing solid this year, but you have to give kudos to this Raiders running game. Josh Jacobs coming out of that backfield playing behind a physical offensive line who knows how to put the lean on the opponents. I look at the Raiders defense. It's been up and down this year, but I think they're going to be able to find a way to, limit what young quarterback Drew Lock can do versus their defense. And I'm going to take the silver and black at home by the score of 31-20. Now in Miami, you're going to have the 5-3 Dolphins hosting the 2-6 Los Angeles Chargers. And for the Chargers, what can you say? On a week-to-week basis, they consistently find a way to lose games, but they've been doing that for some time now. You look at Miami, and this is a team that's trending upward. They went on the road last week, got a big win versus the Arizona Cardinals with rookie quarterback Tua Tagovailoa under center. And this team is believing not only in Tua, but also the game plan for second-year head coach Brian Flores. I think everything is coming, full circle for Miami. I look at the situation with Brian Flores, his program, in South Florida is really coming together, and I think the Dolphins have some momentum for themselves that they could actually get to the postseason this year. And I'm going to take Miami in this contest by the score of 31-27. Now in the desert, you're going to have the 7-2 Arizona Cardinals hosting the 7-2 Buffalo Bills traveling to take on the 5-3 Arizona Cardinals. And for Arizona, they want to try to get back on track after that tough home loss last week versus Miami. However, it will not be easy when you're talking about facing a Buffalo Bills team that, number one, has a very nasty defense. And we know that Cardinals quarterback Kyler Murray likes to run around and make things happen. But you know what? The Bills have a litany of athletes on the defensive side of the ball that will go out there and they're going to not completely slow him down. But it's a situation where, you know what? They could frustrate him for a good portion of the afternoon. We've seen this Bills team take the next step this year as they've shown the ability to score more points. And I think part of that is credit to the maturation process of young quarterback Josh Allen. And it also does not hurt that he is getting the football consistently to wide receiver Stephon Diggs. I think that the Bills offense is going to have enough to score versus this Cardinals defense. But I think it's going to come down to this Bills defense slowing down this Cardinals offense. I think they get it done. And Buffalo wins a close one by the score of 30-27. A big one in the NFC West is you're going to have the 5-3 Los Angeles Rams hosting the 6-2 Seattle Seahawks with first place in the division on the line. Now, Los Angeles comes into this game fresh off of their bye, while Seattle is looking to get back on track after they suffered a tough loss last week versus Buffalo. For Seattle, of course, we know what they do is predicated on what quarterback Russell Wilson can do. But the matchup that I really want to see in this contest is Seahawks wide receiver DK Metcalf going up against Rams cornerback Jalen Ramsey, two of the best in the business at their respective positions. So let's see who wins that matchup. But the big thing for me is, will the Seahawks interior offensive line be able to slow down Rams defensive tackle Aaron Donald? And Aaron Donald is such a disruptor to the point that even if he doesn't get to the quarterback, his presence alone frees up his teammates to go out there and make plays. That's going to be interesting. Seattle's had their issues all season long on defense, and you just have to wonder, will young quarterback Jared Goff be able to take advantage of that? I think this is going to be a nail-biter in typical Rams-Seahawks fashion, but I'm going to take Los Angeles at home by the score of 27-24. Now, you're going to have the 4-5 San Francisco 49ers traveling to the Superdome to take on the 6-2 New Orleans Saints. And for New Orleans, they're definitely flying high after their dominating victory this past Sunday night on the road versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And they want to keep that momentum going because they know that Tampa is not going to go away, so they need to keep the foot on the throttle in order to win the NFC South. You look at the way that the Bucs can run that the Saints can run the football with Alvin Kamara, but I think it comes down to their defense. Why? Because the 49ers have a litany of injuries. We saw this the Saints defense rise to the occasion last week versus the Bucs. I think they're going to go out there and do that again because the 49ers, what can I say? They have so many injuries to so many key players at the skill position. Honestly, it's hard to believe that they've actually won 4 games so far. It's a big reason why New Orleans comes into this contest favored by 9.5 points. And I think the Saints understand the fact that they need to go out there and take care of their business. I think they're going to play with a sense of urgency and put the Niners in chase position early, and thus that's going to lead them to the 30-17 victory. Now you're going to have the 2-5-1 Cincinnati Bengals traveling to the Steel City to take on the 8-0 Pittsburgh Steelers. And you look at this contest, Pittsburgh is favored by 7.5. However, we saw last week what Pittsburgh usually does when they play down to their opponent. And also, this is a division game. And also, the Bengals are 2-5-1, but they're not playing like a 2-5-1 team. They're very competitive every week. week in and week out, and I think that's a credit to second-year head coach Zach Taylor. Rookie quarterback Joe Burrow for the Bengals continues to get better and better, and it's going to be interesting to see how Burrow can do versus the Steelers defense, especially one that has one of the better secondaries in the NFL. I think the Steelers know that they escaped with a victory last week, and they know that they're really going to have to bring it to take care of business versus the Bengals this Sunday. It won't be easy, but Pittsburgh is going to get the 31-24 victory. Now, on Sunday night, you're going to have the 6-2 Baltimore Ravens traveling to Foxborough to take on the 3-5 New England Patriots. Baltimore comes into this contest favored by a touchdown, and it lets you know how things have changed for the Patriots this year, because it is not that often when they are the underdog at home, especially by that big of a margin. Now, you look at the Ravens, they got back on track last week with their defense versus the Indianapolis Colts, and I think their defense is going to go out there and flex their muscles tomorrow night versus this Patriots offense and quarterback Cam Newton. So it's another scenario for anybody who has the Ravens defense on their fantasy team. You definitely want to roll with them in this contest. You look at the Patriots defense, they started off strong. Week by week, they've gotten a little worse and worse, and they're going to have their hands full tomorrow night versus one Lamar Jackson at quarterback. I think New England will be game for about a half, but I think the Ravens will turn it up a notch in the second half, and they will pull away to the 31-17 victory. And finally, on Monday night, you're going to have the 5-4 Chicago Bears hosting the 3-5 Minnesota Vikings. And for Minnesota, after the slow start, they've reeled off a couple of victories, but it's going to be tough for Vikings quarterback Kirk Cousins going up against a stingy Bears defense. I know the Bears have had their issues on offense all season long, but the Vikings defense has not been good. So with that said, they should be able to get away with it tomorrow night, or Monday night rather. And thus, I'm going to take the Bears at home by the score of 27-19. So folks, those are my picks for week number 10 here in the NFL season. And as always, I want to take this time to thank you for tuning into the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge podcast here on YouTube. I want to thank all of you subscribers out there, and if you have not already, please feel free to hit the subscribe button on this channel. Now, if you're on Twitter, please feel free to follow me at 300 Pounds of Sports, and like I always say, if you follow me, it will be my pleasure to follow you right back. There is also the sports discussion group on Facebook at the Sports Depot 365. You can check it out, drop a line, and be a part of one of the better sports debating sites going on social media. So once again, fine folks, my name is William Martin. Take care and have yourselves a wonderful day.